Find out.
There we go. I see her in the background. There we
Just
go.
refresh everything.
Do I look cold?
No, you wear black all the time.
New salad, probably.
You wear black.
There it is.
There's too much feedback from all the computers in the room. Everyone shut your mics off. Now, once you're done with that, I'm actually going to have Matt come over and actually demonstrate this product to you and walk you through some of the interesting features. So as Matt demonstrates, we're hands-on as well, and feel free to ask a lot of questions and confuse him.
So this is the app. It's currently live, and we're getting chats in from different social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Mobcrush. You can play with it, see how it works. And then that button, we can't do it right now because we're live, is a camera pairing piece to it, which would then work with this, which is a 360 HD camera, so 4K 360, or 180 stereoscopic, so VR. The idea being that you can stream any kind of content that you like, whether it's 2D from this, 360 and 4K, or a VR live stream to any platform that supports it. Simultaneously, it can archive it, as you saw on the thing, and it'll centralize all the analytics. So you'll know how you're doing on Facebook versus YouTube, versus Mobcrush, the likes that you're getting, how many people are viewing it, and you'll own that in your own private cloud, so that you have your own copy stored.
I see so
On top of that, we're working directly with the cellular providers to have it so that it's optimized, so that you have unlimited data, you get the top quality that's possible to be streamed, and we can support up to the 4K without any limits on any of that stuff, and the least amount of lag possible.
So which was the button to connect the camera? Was that this one?
Yeah, it's not going to work right now, but the idea would be it could connect to a camera like this, or to a normal camera if you had another camera.
So it could be any camera you want that has. What's the limitation on that? Like what?
This is a demo app right now, so we're happy. The clients that we're working with made it so that it works with one, but the idea is to figure out what it should work with, and it can work with something up to this caliber that is, lets you go around and be able to give somebody a view into your eyes in VR, or whatever type of camera you would want. So it's kind of some of the.
And how does that connect to? Is it a Wi-Fi connection? Or
yeah, it would be a Wi-Fi connection.
So this streams the same quality across all the different platforms.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Do you think you'd like to have one-on-one camera available to attach to that?
That would be interesting as well, to do more than one camera. I was just wondering if if it was something that if the camera needs to be partnered with this app in order to have functionality, or if it's something like, for example, GoPro right now, their newest one, can live stream, and you just have to enter in like the live stream key, the stream key, and stuff like that to be able to connect to it. Yeah, and so that's why I was wondering if it's specific to whatever companies want to work with this, or if the camera itself just enables you to enter in a stream key.
So you want to know, basically, is it stuff you already own, stuff already on your shelf in your hands, or is it you get this app and now you have to buy other things that specifically work with that? Okay. The idea is that would they have to buy specific equipment?
Probably.
We're not sure yet.
Have to go back to.
That's part of the spec. Yeah.
Like when you push that button, does it ask you how do you pair that?
Right now, this is just a demo, so it's hard coded.
Okay.
Like this, and it's up for. They're trying to figure out whether it should be support certain types of cameras or any type of camera, and how to technically be able to do those technically was worthwhile.
Yeah, because I just know that that was like a huge reason why I bought the new GoPro, was that anything that had a stream key, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, anything like that, I was able to enter in that stream key on the GoPro, and that on the GoPro app, and that allowed me to use that even if it wasn't supported. So they have a native YouTube connection and a native Facebook connection, but they don't have Twitch, but at least they have the ability to enter in a stream key. So it allowed me to still connect even though they're not partnered and haven't worked together on that yet.
So this app in and of itself has a single stream key, and then the back-end technology pushes it out to every individual platform.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to enter the stream key at all within the
You would just
app.
log in your individual
Cool.
accounts and pair them.
I just meant that just for the camera specific, like if there was a camera that allowed it but wasn't partnered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts about this? In looking at this, what do you
I-
think about this?
I definitely think it's really cool. One thing that I've wanted to do is like I said, when I live stream with the new GoPro, you have to choose what platform, and that's like, okay, well, my audience is waiting on YouTube, but like right now I'm going to stream on Twitch. I'm going to do that. So to have a mobile enabled live streaming app that can go to all these platforms is much better. And then this chat that's coming in, do they have to be on this app, or does it pull the chat from YouTube, from everything?
It would be ingesting from each individual platform, so you can see it all within this app.
Amazing. Oh, and I see the it says where it's coming from.
Okay.
I think this is pretty cool. It actually, like the way that I use social media is for different purposes, but the fact that you can live stream across every platform at the same time, you're kind of merging all of your followers across different platforms into one viewing style.
And I definitely
Which-
like that the
which
chat
could
is
work.
pulling from all of them. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Because if I have like just done like PC streaming, so I obviously can't do it on my phone yet, but on PCs, like if I stream there, I'm gonna have to pull up multiple chat windows if I do want them
Right.
to.
You have to go and look at what's going on YouTube, go and look
Yeah.
at what's
The
happening.
centralized analytics that I did, you'd have, feedback coming in from each platform.
That's amazing as well. I think that's really important. How in depth are those analytics? Is that just like viewership or engagement or what?
What would you want?
Yeah, that's really the question.
As we said, this is really in development.
Yeah.
That's part of what we're here to learn is what's.
I also
what would be
like that
valuable.
during a stream, I want to know that it converted to someone following me or subscribing to me.
Yeah.
So how many new users did I get on each platform, stuff like that. So I know that like if I'm converting well, then that's a good stream. If I'm not converting well, they're just like sitting back watching and they'll dismiss it and not want to care about watching another one. I know that as well. So if that's not on here, I would still need to go to each individual platform and know how many I gained. So it would be cool to have like that as well.
Do you need chat back to them, or you just respond to chats verbally?
I thought I was going to be able to chat back, but this was just to make it go away. So I would
Sometimes
like
I
to.
feel like chatting back with text is really important only in the times that something fails with the camera. When something fails with the camera and they say I can't see, I always say I'm gonna reset, like don't leave, I'll be right back, or something like that. So that text capability is not that I answer all of their messages. Like if something comes in, I'd rather say it than anything. But if something's audio's not working or anything like that, then it would be really important to be able to chat back and say like I'll be right back on, or it's not working when you reset. So just for that capability.
When you're engaging, how important is like latency, specifically with chat?
Definitely important when it becomes like sometimes on Twitch it's been so bad that I will ask them something or something I'm doing and the response, you've been there when the
Yeah,
response
it's like
comes in
3 minutes later.
Yeah, and it's like crazy, and they do that to enable so that the stream, I guess, can be as smooth as possible. But that's a very important thing when you're engaging. If you're just showing content, like, and they see it later, it's not a big deal. But if you want to be engaging, which is the best way to grow on anything, it has to be possible to engage, and that the lowest latency is going to be obviously.
If there was another end platform
that didn't necessarily do anything different other than just latency, like it was the most immediate, would that be a reason for you to start adopting to stream to that?
To stream to that specific platform,
So
like the
there's-
reason I haven't left YouTube is because that's where my audience is. That's pretty much the only reason. So if the people are there, I'll go to it. So when I start realizing that YouTube still had I can still have the viewership on there, like that's why I like to say I'm a content creator versus a YouTuber or someone who uses Facebook, because I'll create content where the business is. So I won't switch to a platform if I have to try to sell everyone on that platform. I'll play with it and hope that I can, that platform grows and I can do everything, but a full switch would be hard. But this one, I mean, if it's going to all these platforms anyway, then I can still, engage with everyone as well. And if I focus on Facebook, I can still feed the audience that's on YouTube as well doing that. So
Something about the viewers, this number up top. I think it'd be cool if we could show how many people are from different platforms.
oh yeah, that would be cool.
That'd be really rad.
Like if you tap it, it shows the emblem. It says like 300 from Facebook, 200 from YouTube.
Yeah.
Also, the time that people are on each platform would be really interesting. Because
And how long
Facebook,
they
everybody's
engage
just
with it.
scrolling and they'll leave, but if you can get them to stay for longer periods of time, then you know
Yeah,
that you've
average
got the right
watch
kind
Difference
of
between
content.
10 seconds versus a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be total average watch time. I don't think that needs to be specific to
Mhm.
platform.
It's pretty cool, though.
Great. You guys have any other questions right now?
I think
Let's launch into the card sort then.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They wrap up the
What?
heat record.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, they've already done it. No, we're just gonna collect these.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna.
I don't know if I have enough time, that's all.
This. I actually want to do the session.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna have you do a card sort. And you've never done this? It's so much fun. It's so much fun. So, what we have is a stack of features, and you each get your own, I'll slide a little bit this way. You each get your own set of titles. We have must-have, so that would be great, nice to have, or I'm not interested in this. And so, you guys can all take a little break here.
Yes.
And so you get all of these little features, these are things that you've read about or we just talked about, right? So simulcasting, things put together, 360 camera support, things like this. Read through each one of these, think about it, think about if you were gonna build the perfect thing for you specifically, not anybody else in the world, but you specifically, what would be those features that you would, if you were gonna think about, I'm gonna get into this new software, this new platform idea. We want you to engage, so tell us what you must have in that. And also you can tell us, I'm absolutely not interested in something. This is not something that I would care about, couldn't care less. This nice to have bucket is more like, it's not a requirement. It wouldn't be a deal breaker if it didn't have this, but I would like it to have it. So that must have is, if it didn't have this, I wouldn't be interested. Nice to have is, I would like these things, but they're not, absolutely probably necessary. And then not interesting is I couldn't care less have this thing or not.
Cool.
Okay, so this is sort of, and then we have these little little notes here. Apparently Lauren's hoping you're gonna really love this, all these
Something.
things.
Okay.
So if there's a
At least
particular
one.
feature, at least one
No
feature
more
in
than
the
six.
must-have that you really like, stick a love it on it. And basically, we're gonna let you do this, and then we're gonna come back and check in on you in a couple of minutes, see if you have any questions about anything on these cards, and we can get going.
Okay.
Still aiming to keep you on time.
Cool.
If we
Thank
can.
you.
We'll do our best.
Wait, have a channel DVR cable TV package. Is that the same thing as like having like the YouTube app on? Have a channel or DVR in your cable TV package.
Oh, like people who live stream, there would be like an actual channel on your TV. Like you can tune in to a channel, your DVR.
But that would pull them away from like platforms.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't go on TV just to look for live streams.
Yeah.
Screencast. DVD video streaming from your phone's camera. Yes. I think this was meant to be taped. Oh, wait.
You guys doing okay? Any questions so
Yes.
far?
I think we're good.
All right.
So far,
All right, a couple more minutes.
How you guys doing?
pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about things that you're seeing?
The have a channel or DVR in your cable TV package. Is that like a channel dedicated to your stream or?
Yes, I believe that's what it would be. It would be like your own, so there'd be like, you know how there are those on-demand channels, like a certain number, and it's like just the random on-demand channel, but I believe it would be your, essentially, content on that channel. So, let me ask Matt, because he knows more about it. He can
Yeah, 'cause
explain it
I just
better.
want to know like how they would they have to request each individual streamer to do that or?
Right. Okay, now. One question. The dedicated channel within your cable?
Yeah, so that would
How
be,
would work?
so if you wanted to say on, you sign into your social platforms that you're sending it to, say
Yeah.
you also sent it to like Spectrum at home, and it would be almost like a DDR or a thing like that that you could send it to that people have the code to, they can watch through their cable TV, like a linear channel or a DVR.
Okay, that wouldn't allow much interaction, right?
It wouldn't be interaction, it would be more of
Just viewer.
yeah, it'd be just viewer, but a different audience or a private audience.
Okay. And the simulcast one, that would be for two broadcasts at one time?
Merging, yeah.
Okay.
I get really excited about these things.
Excellent, excellent.
All in.
Live now, so I can get a picture, because we're gonna make lots of people do this.
Just do the one that's next to it.
see the audience is wandering off. I'm trying here.
Oh, here's my question.
You can tell I'm from the East Coast, right? I say things like, I'm trying here. Yes, you have another question?
No, that's.
Oh, that's the answer to the question you had.
Yeah.
Too many must-haves.
There's nothing wrong with that. Series of pictures here. Excellent. Excellent. All right, I'll spread yours out afterwards, but.
Oh, I was supposed to spread mine out.
We will, because I'll take a picture, we'll do that afterwards. So, tell me a little bit about what's in your must-have, both of you. What is in your must-have column? Spread out so you're talking about it. What do you think this must be done? What has to be part of this?
Central analytics is definitely a must-have.
Okay. What do you like about central analytics?
For previous work, when we have to pool all the analytics together and basically make a final spreadsheet, it's time-consuming and annoying, and some centralized dashboard would just make everything a lot easier to kind of analyze what you needed to take a look at. I really liked filters and AR overlays. I think they're fun, so.
Okay. And easy ways to enhance things?
Yeah, there's ways to enhance things, and it's always fun to play with those sort of tools.
Okay, great.
Multiple casters paired together is, I think, would be really cool too. Let's say I want to stream with Alex, we could be on the same one, so that'd be fun. What else do I have? Universal camera pairing. I feel like it should pair with any camera. So I guess that's in the must-have. Unlimited data, low latency, minimize jitter, great. Prioritize bandwidth if you're live streaming away from Wi-Fi. And you want it to look good, I feel like you need that. If you're streaming from your phone's camera, that's something I would expect to be in there. Scheduling to track posts and engagement. Schedule your posts and track engagement. I think you would need that. Private cloud to maintain ownership of your streams, and a simulcast.
Cool. So you really like a lot of these features?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them I would expect to be in there, and it wouldn't be like a selling point, where if they put it in the marketing, I wouldn't think.
It's a given.
Yeah, it's a given. Like this wasn't going to be in there, then I would question.
Are your centralized analytics important to have historicals?
Was that?
Is it important to have historicals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking reference.
Yeah.
Now tell me about your love-its. Start with the things you love.
Love the minimal delay on broadcast. That's important for any engagement. Love the centralized analytics and the prioritized bandwidth, so that again you don't lag out on your stream. Those are the ones that I love. And the ones that I just thought were must-haves for pretty much like the bare minimum what it just needs to have for me to use it is the no restriction on how much you upload, because I wouldn't want to be capped at how much content I can put out to my viewers, as well as uncapped quality I think is a must, because I wouldn't want the service to limit the ability of the camera I paid for or bought. If I want to buy better quality for my viewers, I don't want the app to restrict that.
Okay.
A private cloud where you maintain ownership of your live streams, I think is very important, so you can always look at the streams you have done in the past. Universal camera pairing, which is what I was asking before, so that it can be possible to use whatever camera you want to buy. And that allows people to actually have that market value of buying something nicer than someone else to have a better quality stream. And then definitely the streaming from your phone's camera would have to be a must, because if you're using the app, then and you can't even use your own camera on the phone, then it would be tough.
Right, okay. All right, so think about the things that you've put it down as the must-haves. If you came across this product and it had these things in it, how likely would you be to use it, to adopt this?
I would definitely try it, like I was saying before, I want to use any new platform that's out there.
Yeah.
So if it's the new app that's out, I will always see if I can be one of like the pioneers of the app, the first people.
Okay.
Do you think that a lot of content creators are like that, or that's just something that's...
The very successful ones, I think. I'm not saying that I'm very successful in that thing. I may have never hit a thing, but to be able to try that, the ones who have, like if you were to look at the, like someone like even iJustine, she was one of the first people on YouTube and grew with that. And every time there's a new platform, she's been trying to get like ahead of the game. So I think she's a good example for that. But a lot of the people who, a good example of people who don't do that were the ones who were huge on Vine and didn't know how to convert to other platforms or try other platforms. And so once Vine died, their career on social media died with it. So there's like evidence that's there that shows that that's what people should be doing. So hopefully the ones that will do well will do that and try something new.
Right. Are there things that, anything that would make you not want to try this?
I think just limiting factors, but like if it was its own platform and didn't allow to stream to, like I have to be able to tell my other audience, like you can still, if there were more features, like the enticing thing would be if there's features that are specific on here that weren't available on like Facebook or YouTube or something like that, then I can say like they're watching from there. But if it allows me to grow on here and I can go, yeah, if you want to do this or you want to be able to like use this feature, you guys can also come to this app and directly. And that's how you can build that platform too, is to give them features that aren't available to the other ones who are watching. Well, but I have to be able to engage the other audience to be able to tell them that, because I can't just like write a tweet or do something or tell them about it or it won't convert.
Right. Okay. What do you think the cost value is to a service like this? I'm not going to say what do you think the price would be, but like kind of essentially that, like what's the value here? Would you expect this to be really expensive? Would you expect this to be, you know, how do you engage in price-wise with things like YouTube, Facebook, those things are free. Would you expect this to be free as a platform?
Yes, and I think to be able to keep using it, there would have to be some sort of way to incentivize the creator to continue to use this. Other than just like, the thing is also if I use this, can I still, on all the other platforms I can monetize my streams. So I can still monetize while I'm using this platform. So now I'm monetized on multiple platforms at the same time, and that brings in even more money and more incentive to use it. Or is it because it's just going, which, you know, if it's live streamed and just distributed there, I'm sure it would be. But I don't know. So if there's incentive on here, like if it's app driven, I mean if it's ad driven, and there's some sort of ad share, which doesn't usually come with an initial launch of any of these things, so I don't expect that right away. But if there is some sort of like future incentive, that maybe a lot of people say that the reason Vine failed was they never wanted to give any ad share to any of the creators. They made their money off brand deals, and that was pretty much it.
So if this were more of a tool like Adobe Premiere type of thing, clearly it's ad driven, right? You pay a monthly subscription to your Adobe Suite, and if you thought of it that way, would that change your mind about being free or paid subscription?
To be able to use it as a tool just specifically to be able to stream to all of them, then yes, I would potentially pay monthly for that. It would have to be something that's like a $5 a month service that just like be able to monetize on all your platforms at the same time is a huge incentive to like, you know, am I going to make, when you're streaming, like which platform when I stream to is going to bring in the most money? And is it going to be Twitch or Facebook or YouTube or anything like that? And to be able to have all those streams coming in, that is a huge incentive there to be able to pay for a tool. If it's provided as a tool, then yeah. If it's provided as a platform, then there should be some way for me to, or some incentive for me to use it as a platform.
Right, okay. you guys have any other questions? You don't
No.
have to. You
No,
don't
I
have
think
to.
we're good.
No pressure.
I think we,
I would be curious, Alex, on like YouTube specifically or Twitch with exclusivity. Would this prohibit you from wanting to use an app like this?
No. I think that the audience, the viewers usually appreciate when the creators like try to reach as many people as possible and not limit anyone. So I actually like when I stream on just Twitch, the YouTube audience goes, how come you never do like live streams on here too? Like we're watching and they don't get the notification and not subscribe to Twitch. And I try to tell them like, you can subscribe to Twitch or you can follow me on Twitch if you want and then you'll get the notification as well. But to be able to like have something where I'm like, hey, I got this tool because now I can reach all of you at the same time and they don't have to leave their favorite platform or their platform of choice, that's great.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us today. You can leave these things as they are. I've already taken pictures of yours, but I need to get the rest of the pictures of yours. So, thank you so much, and let me see if
There was one additional thing I realized
Oh,
that,
sorry.
so on the archival, would it be additionally beneficial if that was, like, how much of a difference is that if you're archiving live, like that's another endpoint versus just having that cloud that you can store all this stuff in and do it? Like the fact that you don't ever have to upload anything to have it archived.
Like after you're done with the live stream, it saves?
It's already there. Like the same as it's saved on Facebook, it's
Yeah.
saved in your private cloud.
Definitely important because some people who don't want to sit through maybe a 2-hour live stream or something really fun to happen in that live stream, it's important for me to have that content after to be able to recut it into short content and put it somewhere where it could potentially go viral, whereas a 2-hour video is never going to go viral.
Were you assuming that when you said the private cloud? Were you assuming that you were live archiving, or were you thinking that you would have to add things to it later?
I was assuming it was live.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, paint.
Don't forget your.
Oh,
Got that?
is that a great team? Yeah, that's amazing. Waffles. Hank is a blue healer.
I was gonna put them in myself.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you wanted to, the nice things and just spread it out there, take pictures of it so we can just get that.
Okay.
Oh my god.
monster dog.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Today.
She said 100 feet.
Yeah, Harvard is, I'll show you. This is Harvard. It's just a, he's big.
This is Hank and Harvey.
Oh,
Yeah.
those two.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Found him from Texas.
Gorgeous.
This is first day he came into LA. It's just a little pup.
Yeah.
He'll pop his head out.
It's fun, it's great.
Oh my god.
Beautiful.
So it's because he's three-legged, he hops everywhere,
Yeah.
and his tongue is always out, so when he no one walks, the right side of his face is soaked.
Alright, sorry, that's all you want. Hey, great to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Thanks, guys, for coming in, appreciate it. Good to meet you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, see you.
Thanks, Danielle. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much.
That place downstairs is already gone. All those tents are gone.
It must be for lunch, maybe? Or?
No, I mean, it's
Well,
David and,
Outside, it's
they're gone.
it's gone.
It's completely.
Yeah. It's, he said it's every
I got a
Wednesday
picture
morning.
of nice to have.
Okay.
I'm just gonna put them into Excel like this, so we've got them. And I can do.
yeah, but we're gonna start with the meeting. So I think we're gonna do the next concert, we're gonna do over there.
And they can leave it being a
Yeah.
And I can leave
wanna
it
make
walk
sure that
away,
it's-
and you can just go over and sneak over and take pictures of it while we wrap up and talk about
But
stuff.
Yep.
And then,
doing it
That way- and that way we
at
can-
the same time that you and
also gonna do is two separate
he's like, I see that outside.
It's not much.
Because I realized we didn't specifically put that on there.
Yeah.
And I want to like make sure that that was getting across.
Right,
So
Yeah.
the
so
seat
we
one
need to
that
get
was just
through.
assumed.
How are we on, that was okay on time.
Time is good, in terms of good.
Well,
We'll
so
go-
we're
We'll
late
go
10
faster now.
minutes.
She's doing the NDA right now or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're late by 10 minutes, so.
So not good.
Well, this is a faster call, but yeah. a couple minutes.
Well, it's only one person too, so we should be able to make it on time.
Yes.
She's coming in.
Excellent. It's 2:07.
Let's get rolling. Let's get rolling right now. Yep. Let's go.
Can you get it?
Okay, good. NDAs for you. Thank you. This
That's
NDA.
theirs,
Yes.
it's signed.
Yes, this will be the.
And you're gonna sit right here. This is your copy. Can we get your everything before you go on? Okay, excellent.
Perfect.
Anyone need anything?
Oh, you're good.
Inching towards that.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, maybe by the next one we have a bigger.
Yeah.
So you've met most of us in the hall.
Hi.
You've met most of us in the hall. I'm Patty.
Patty,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Jeff,
Matt.
Matt,
This is Lauren.
I'm Lauren, Gwen, nice to meet
And,
you.
and of course, Brian, who's out watering the halls.
Yes.
So thanks so much for coming in,
Thank you.
meeting with us. I just want to kind of set the rules of what we're here to do. Basically, we're here to talk about you and what you do and kind of how you do what you do. Really interested in sort of like the tools, platforms that you engage with, and really kind of trying to understand sort of the business functional end of what you're doing, right? So I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about you and what you're doing, who you are, about your content strategy and stuff like that. But then we also want to show you a product and get your feedback on that. We'll do that in a couple of different ways as we go along. One will be, read this and tell us what you think. There'll be a little time for demo, and then we'll have you do what we call a card store, which is just taking a list of features and bucketing it for us. Excellent. So hopefully we'll have fun. And as I said to you in the hall, this is only for research purposes. And so we're talking about a lot of people like you who can help us understand this industry, what you do, how you do, and what, kind of where this sort of new things you're thinking about should go. Okay?
Okay.
So, all right. So I may, as I tell these guys all the time, every time I start one of these, they're going to also be able to ask questions, but ground rules are if they take us off, down the wrong path, I'm going to make them stop. So, I'm very mean to them, but I'll be very nice to them. So first, tell me a little bit about you and what you do.
Cool. So my name is Gwen. I'm from LA. Nice to meet you too. I run two companies. I run the LA Girl, which is my media company. I started in 2014 for millennial women in Los Angeles. So it's just something I started as a hobby, and then realized that it could be an actual business. And I started getting reached out to by brands, and then in 2.5 years, I was able to quit my marketing job in entertainment to do it full time. So I've been running the LA Girl for four plus years now. So that's mostly through brand sponsorships. I do a little bit of affiliate marketing, some event hosting and appearances. So that's that media side. Yeah, and about a year ago, I was starting to teach at YouTube Space and content creators because their biggest thing is like, how do I monetize, right? I want to do this full time, like how do you do it? How do you work with brands? So I actually started my own online learning company teaching other influencers how to grow their brand, their audience, and how to get in touch with brands.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very cool. Wow. All right. Which means that you're doing something right?
Yes,
So-
I mean, it feels good.
Tell me a little bit about the size of your following. Like your following in
sure.
general. So
Sure.
who follows you?
So on the LA Girl, I have about over 100,000 followers on there. I have a list of about 10,000 people, so my email list. As a marketer, I know that social media is social media, but there's like an email list, and that's the most important thing for anything customer acquisition wise. On the Spark Society side, which is my influencer community, I have about 25,000 people on my list there, and growing probably a social following about under 25,000, but more emphasis on the list because I'm selling programs through that company.
So when you talk about your LA Girl, social media piece, what platforms, what channels are you using for LA Girl?
I started on Twitter, back when Twitter was very, very cool. It's still cool now, and I still use it to like get in touch, like keep on the trends and like what's happening right now. But for brand sponsorships and media, it's mostly Instagram and Facebook. And I do have my blog, which I think really helped propel the brand sponsorships, because they did want, a lot of the brands want packages of everything, not just social, but on an owned and operated channel where their content can live, you know, indefinitely.
What are you doing in terms of content creation? Are you doing video? Is it live stream? Are you writing?
Everything.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Yes, everything. So for LA Girl, my primary content is the blog, and so I do a weekly blog post on there. I also have my Instagram account. I post daily. I used to do twice daily, but it was a lot of work, so I became once daily, and it didn't find any. I didn't find any difference in engagement, so I was testing a while. Like, was it once a day or twice a day is a sweet spot? What is it? So I'm at once a day right now. It's doing fine. I try to do stories on a daily basis, but since I'm at home, working from home, not everything is exciting, so sometimes that doesn't happen. And then I try to go live as much as I can.
Okay, what kind of live things do you do? Like, where are you when you do
So
live?
Instagram Live and Facebook Live. I do like Facebook Live a lot more than Instagram Live. I'm not sure, because I think that my following is a lot more focused on Facebook. Instagram, like, anyone and everyone can follow you, and sometimes there's creepers on the live and they say random things, and I'm like, this is weird. But on Facebook, when I go live on my page or in my group or on my personal channel, I feel like it's more of a, like, I know, either I know them or they're following me for the right reason and not just to creep on the Instagram.
Right. Just,
Yeah, it's weird. There's a lot of weird of that.
yes, there is, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you change your strategy? Like, what, like, you know, sometimes you, like, if you're going to stream, like, you change that depending on the audience you're trying to reach or what platform you're using? So you said you don't really like Instagram Live. So is your Instagram stuff more edited video production? Is it more snapshot? What is the Instagram stories? What is the thing
Yes.
that Instagram gives you that is different from Facebook? Or do you use them essentially the same?
So I love how I use Instagram as more of like my daily go-to. I do Facebook prompts in my group, because I also have a group. I use the groups because, as you guys know, like, a page doesn't really do much unless you're putting ads into it. But for Instagram, I love the story part where you can just do like snippets, whether it's a photo, it's a short video. I like doing polls in there as well. I really love being able to use that actually, and it actually fuels in my other business, because I ask them, like, is this something you want to do too? Do you want to be an influencer? Do you want to work with brands? And then you can actually tell who answered yes. And then if you want to DM them, I do a DM outlet, manual lead generation, where I just go, hey, if you're interested, like, sign up for this freebie I have, or this resource, or this workshop that I have. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Do you think about your strategy in terms of outreach? Is there anything else that drives your strategy? Like, is it the kind of tools that different platforms offer? Are you using offline tools, or are you mostly engaging in whatever the platform has in terms of its own tools?
So for Facebook, so for content in general, I like to plan my content way ahead of time, just because as a marketer, that's kind of how I was trained to think for, you know, for 12 plus years. So I actually worked in movie marketing.
Oh,
so
okay.
like we were a year to 2 years out. So when I was working in the agency, it was just like movies that were coming out like a year in advance. So it's like we were planning billboards, print, everything. So when I was doing my own brand, I kind of wanted to do the same thing, because obviously it works, and that's how corporations plan, right? They don't just plan, okay, what am I posting tomorrow? So I try to do a bird's eye view, like a quarter ahead, if not more. I'm teaching my students how to do 2019 planning right now, so that they're ahead of time. And then from there, I go from primary content, which is my blog and weekly content, and then I go into daily content. So I use all sorts of calendaring services for that. So I use Google Calendar, I use Google Sheets, I used to do Hootsuite for scheduling, but because Facebook has been known not to like third-party scheduling, I basically just had to schedule it manually on the page and in the group that I was. Instagram, I use Planoly for my scheduling. They do auto post, but I found out that that's bad too. Facebook just doesn't like anything third party. I feel like they just want you to stay in that platform. So I draft everything in Planoly, but it's manually pushed to that app.
Tell me about how you use some of the analytics that are involved in these platforms.
I'm a big analytics person, a big numbers person, so every month I do a monthly overview, and I look into Facebook to see audience reach, and I look at my Google Analytics to see where my traffic is coming from, which social platform, so I know, which ones to double my efforts on. I found that Pinterest is really good for traffic driving, so that's been something that I've been focusing on a lot more in the last couple months. And I don't have time for Pinterest, so I have a manager that does all my Pinterest management for me.
That's my next question, but.
Have you hired?
Yes, do you have people who help you in whatever capacity,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
what are some of the ways you go?
I learned pretty quickly, about 2 years into doing this on my own, I thought I could do a solopreneur, but obviously you hit a max capacity. So I have a virtual assistant that helps me with social media, and then I have a content manager that helps me. I do a weekly Facebook Live for my second business, and so she drafts the blog post for that. So I kind of write the video, and then I do it, and then she drafts it in. I have a Pinterest VA, I have some graphic design contractors, so outside contractors, but main people about 3 on staff.
How are you monetizing across all these platforms and keeping control of it?
Good question, Patty.
Thank you.
Revenue generation is
Key.
is the number one priority. I mean, I love my people, but we gotta eat. So for LA Girl, it's pretty much probably 95% brand sponsorships, and that's when the brands reach out to me, or I reach out to them, or we meet somewhere and hang out, and they now want to work with me, and they offer me money for advertising to my audience. And so usually that's in the form of blog posts, Instagram stories. Sometimes they just want me to attend an event and cover the event on my Instagram story. So it's kind of fun.
That's kind of fun, actually.
Yeah.
Makes me want to do this. I wish I was
You
interested.
should. Do you want
I wish I was
to be an
interested.
influencer, Patty?
I know, but I'm going to ask your card for later.
Yeah. So that's the monetization for LA Girl. For Spark Society, I have a program that I sell to people who want to learn.
Okay.
So it's like an online course.
Right, so it's going to
Yeah.
Okay, cool. If you were just starting out, so what are some of the things you tell people who are just starting out now? What do you tell them in terms of advice, in terms of platforms? What do you tell them about stuff?
I find that a lot of the questions are all fear and mindset driven. I realize everyone's a life coach online because they're all afraid of the same thing. Like, is it too late to start? How many followers do I need to have to even do this? So a lot of them are discouraged by I'm just starting from 0 and everybody has 1 million followers. Like, how do I even do that? I'm like, I don't even have 1 million followers, and I started making money at 10,000 followers. So it's not like 0 or 1 million. There's a lot in between, and there's a lot of people online that are successful monetizing their presence without having tons of followers. If you set it up correctly, there's different ways to do that, like affiliate marketing, advertising, if you start a YouTube channel, AdSense. So I pretty much just kind of talk them out of their own way, because a lot of them are really scared to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Do you give them advice about specific platforms, like what platforms to start out on, or what platforms to use, or do you think people should start out using every platform?
No, I definitely tell them don't use every platform, because that's just like starting 10 different businesses at the same time. Usually it's going to be really hard for you to succeed in that. So I usually tell them to pick one primary platform, similar to what I do with the blog. It's your weekly thing, whether that's usually I say YouTube, Facebook show, or Facebook Live show weekly, a podcast, or what else is there? YouTube. So some sort of weekly show that they do, and then from there they can choose which social media platform. because I always tell them like there's your platform and then there's other people's platform that you're hanging out in. But if those platforms close, you have no say, right? Like Instagram can kick you out whenever they want, Facebook can kick you out whenever you want. So I always kind of tell them like, always have your stuff also on your own platform.
Do you use the cloud or do you use like physical, terabyte drives? Or how do you archive your own content?
I do everything. I'm one of those people that,
Do you sleep? I don't think I'm getting the impression you don't sleep.
Yeah. So my husband, who works with me in the business, he's the CTO guy. He's a software developer, and he makes sure that all my stuff is backed up all the time. So we have a hard drive, and then we also have we use the iCloud, and then we do have Dropbox as well.
Okay. Do you do a lot of stuff mobile, or do you tend to be like you said you write a video and then you create it? But do you also do a lot of like on-the-go, mobile kind of stuff, and what do you do for that?
Yes, so I do a lot of travel for the sponsorships, which is really fun. If you're interested, Patty. So I've had to adjust and do both. So we have the whole Apple suite. So we have like my desktop, which I love doing, like the graphic stuff, anything that I kind of need two windows at, it's a lot easier. If I'm at home, then I do my live at home, but I have a little webcam that I can take with me if I need to go live on my laptop. So I have the laptop, I have the iPad, and then I have my phone.
Okay.
But yes, I am pretty mobile, especially when I'm traveling, and I have like, battery packs with me all the time. I have a lighting source with me. I got prepared. Like sometimes there's food events, and I have to bring a light because the restaurant has bad lighting.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Do you ever have like, personal hotspots or anything like that, or do you tether to your phone?
I have had to tether from my phone if there's no available Wi-Fi. My husband and I are thinking of trying to get a mobile hotspot because we're planning to be traveling a lot more in the next year. So that's something that we're thinking about investing in so that we're always on. Another thing that I want to tell you is that we're hikers and mountaineers. So sometimes we actually don't have access, which freaks me out a lot. And we're like, how do we do satellite Wi-Fi? So that's something that we've been thinking about. How do we always get on if we're like on top of the mountain?
Yeah, you're gonna travel someplace in this middle of nowhere. It's gonna suck to go to there, no signals. So, are there things that you wish you could do that you're not doing now in terms of technology?
Great question. Besides go to Mars, let me think. So, do you have any more like specificities on that, like with my job?
No, like in terms of like engaging followers, getting your message out there, bringing in more followers and subscribers. Is there something that you wish technology could make easier for you? Are there parts of what you do that, you said you have to manually do the scheduling,
Yes.
do all these kinds of things, right? So are there other things other than that you think you wish someone would come up with a way to do something?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have like one central thing that goes out to everything without being penalized with algorithm or, some sort of thing because I'm operating from that one thing. Analytics, going through analytics is annoying because you have to sign in through each platform, and then it's not like you could print out reports. And I think to do that, you have to have something like Tableau or some really big data mining thing that I can't afford as a solopreneur, but I used to have when I was a marketer. And so I was like, I wish I would have that. I have a friend who teaches Microsoft Power BI and business intelligence stuff, but for me, someone who at our level, we have not cracked that code, so it's literally going in and checking every single thing. But if I found a software that would aggregate that would make things a little easier. Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions?
Accelerating. Exciting.
All right. So I'm going to have you actually read through. There's an orange and a blue highlight.
Okay.
So this is a product that we're helping the company develop, and I want you to read through this. Use the orange highlighter for anything you find appealing, things that you really are. This is really kind of like this, and you can use the blue marker to find anything really unappealing.
Okay.
I would absolutely not want this.
Okay.
So let you do that.
Is he on it? Yeah. Yeah. Do you want me to end it? Do you want me to end it and restart it?
I think that.
I have questions. Sure. So is this, so like I don't think anything is not appealing.
We're running a demo.
So I don't know. I mean,
Not that
specifically,
it's not appealing.
I just have like questions of like. So this one is like, what is like the host of new ones? Like anything that comes that launches? Okay. So I guess that would be a little confusing to me if I'm just like thinking about that.
Okay.
We're already like bombarded by someone that is like, what? I'm like, what do you want me to know? Like, what a platform for me to add content on. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you dread new platforms popping up?
All the time. At the same time, because it's like the same thing with like IGTV. So it wasn't a new platform, but it was like another thing. So it's like, do I need to now create a video specifically for that? So, for example, like when I'm thinking about like my Facebook Live, so for Spark, for my Facebook Live, do I cut a trailer for Facebook that's a square, and for my Facebook page, do one that's horizontal for YouTube, and then do one that's vertical and how many seconds on IGTV. So it's kind of like, it would be great if there was, I mean, that would be in your question, like one video and then like splices up to a Facebook trailer
format's
square.
yeah.
It's just.
Is it
the
just the
fact
format or the content as well?
Well, I think that's the reason why it may be hard to automate is because they would need the clip that I would want them as for the trailer. And I don't know if like someone could do that, you know.
Would you want the same clip just with different like square versus?
Yeah.
Okay, so it wouldn't change the actual content in it, just the
No,
format.
Yeah, it would just be clips.
That's
Cut
really
it.
different.
And the thing with Facebook is that, you know, like the best videos are the ones that have the headline on the top, right? And that are black borders, square
Mhm.
black borders with a headline on the top, and not just like a square video. So it's like, damn, now I need to hire a video editor to do all of those different things.
Overlays for each one
Okay,
specific.
cool. I'm actually
Okay.
gonna have that come and demo
Okay.
this new product for you. Thank
Okay.
you. Take that.
Alright. So here we have it. You are currently live on Facebook and YouTube and Mobcrush and
Awesome.
Twitter and Twitch. It pulls in chat from across all of them. Somebody's a big fan of yours already. Probably that guy. And you can see it's on all of those right now.
Cool.
And also, this button is part of pairing it with a third-party camera. So one of the things that we're looking at
Any
for
camera?
them is what those requirements should be,
Okay.
like how you'd want to pair with the camera, as well as this is supporting for, this is a 360 4K camera, and it also supports VR 180.
Ooh.
So we're trying to understand how appealing all of those pieces are. Like, would it need to be every camera? Could it be
Right.
specific ones? Is VR an interesting area? Is 360 something that you would want to be streaming in? And then on top of that, this is paired directly with the different carriers to make this the highest quality that it can be, lowest lag, highest bit rate that can be supported, and will let you actually stream in 4K and 360.
Cool.
So
Well,
you can
quality
play
is
this.
definitely important as far as like how we look on video, right? Because when you're fuzzy, then that
Right.
sucks. I think the girls might care more about that. The guys might not care, but
I think I'm better off.
You can flip the camera too, so that you can.
oh, so flip.
He doesn't want to be on his
Oh, he's like,
Yeah, I'm not a pretty face on this.
cool. Hi. What is the coolest feature of this product? So this is like the live. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks.
And then you can also see that you can see people who are chatting
Yeah.
with you from different platforms.
Oh, so
Because you're
it's the
simultaneous
icons.
streaming.
Yeah, so
cool.
that one's Facebook, that one's Twitch, that one's Facebook, YouTube.
And this is like if you want to.
This is to get rid of the chat.
Okay.
Add the chat.
Is there a way to comment in the comments?
Would you want there to be? So this is very prototype stage right now. So we're trying to understand
So
the kinds of features that you would want added to something.
I
like
read
this.
on Instagram, right, where like on I guess on Instagram Live, you could like say hi or wave, right? So that's kind of cool. So it's like I'm talking and then I wave.
Yeah.
And then if I want them to go to a link or something, then I put that in the chat.
Okay.
But I mean, that's sometimes, right? Because you're like somewhere and talking and like typing at the same time.
You're not usually typing back to them.
Not usually.
Okay.
It's only if like, oh, you guys should check out this book I'm reading. And
Do
they're
you
like, what's the
usually
book?
know
And then I go,
before what you want to be telling them on it, or it's in
no.
like
Sometimes. If I'm like, if I plan the content, I know the subject, then yeah. But if not, then they're like, oh wait, and oh, I'm here at this restaurant. Like, what's the restaurant? And then I type it in or something like that. Because then they can't. There's no way for them to remember it unless they can't like replay it, right, or rewind or yeah. So
Cool. All right, thank you. All right, so what we're gonna have you do is, we call it card sort. Okay. Did you set up over there? Let's go to the other side. Hey, pick these guys up and then
Yes.
All right, so,
Get the,
what we're gonna
Get an
have you
Eskimo
set
coat.
up
I'll be right
the
back.
different features.
Do you have a
that were part of this.
I'm sorry,
Part
dude,
of
it's
this part
30
of
degrees
the
in here.
process.
It's
So,
I-
it is not
I agree.
necessarily something
No,
that
no,
exists
no,
yet, we're trying to
it's fine.
figure out,
You're good,
okay, what
you're
role
good.
should it exist, right, what would make the most appealing, so you've got three categories. You've
I
got
thought you asked.
must have, so this means,
Oh,
this
so you
is
said
the
here.
minimum you would expect us to have, or this is a feature that's so exciting that it
Fortnite
has,
campfire.
right, for you to want to engage with this
It's
product,
more healing.
right? And then there's the not interesting things, like, this has no value, okay, so we're very low.
I'm gonna go,
And then
I'm
there's
gonna go
this sort of
swimming in the
this
Pacific
middle
Ocean.
category, right, of, you know, it's nice to have, like, I'd love it if it had this, but I would not use this tool because it doesn't have it, okay? And so I just want to go through here, and then actually, if you find something that you really love, and you say, oh, okay, I really love that.
Sometimes when you're not on, you're okay.
You just slap them, you know,
We're like 2 hours into it.
yeah, so, like, you do that, do that by yourself.
Yes. Yes, your key cards. Yep. Yeah, we'll grab another one. We'll have Brian.
Most of the day, I think.
Yeah, I have some more quick here that I got down, and this will get us through, up to 2024.
Yep.
Yeah, so cool.
And if there's anything there that you don't you don't quite understand what we mean by it, let me know, and then when I'll pull the Matt back into the room and he can explain it. If I can't answer it.
What's a 2D video? It's just regular?
Yeah, standard.
I mean,
It's regular video, it's not 3D.
and this universal camera sharing, this is if you use another camera?
Yes, so you don't have camera pairing with the cameras you already own versus having to have a camera that you buy as part of the package for this tool, right? So it would be essentially any camera that you have in your place.
And then 360, how would that work?
There's a specific 360 camera that we were showing you that's
Does it show
360.
everything?
It shows the whole thing.
So
like,
that
if you
may
have a round
or may
table-
not be good, right?
Right,
Because like
exactly.
if you're at home, you don't really want it. If you're
Right,
at
but if on the top of
home,
the mountain, that might be really cool.
nice to have.
Might be really cool if you're on the top of a mountain.
Right, so it's like you should be able, maybe if you were able to turn it on and off, but I don't know.
Yeah, it would be, you'd pair with that camera if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But not if you don't want to.
Yeah. You don't like seeing everything.
Yes. Sometimes the house is not ready.
No, then I have to clean.
I had that part when I work from home and on my video conference, I'm like, oh, what's part of the mic? I said,
Check like 5 times to make sure that the camera's off.
exactly. That's what I
You have to put pants on it.
usually do.
No, you just have to put a shirt on.
Yeah, exactly. I can make sure I've like, brought my hair for the day or something, not wear my pajama top instead of being the force me with you.
Yeah. That's fine.
I feel like we have enough, very people around that, I appreciate that, sure.
Yeah.
What are these interactive or immersive endpoints?
So if you could have more of like a one-to-one interactions or like lower latencies where you can actually respond immediately to you, it's not like a 10-second delay. So again, new platforms, this is one of those things that you tried, but like another type of a Facebook or thing like that where it didn't have to worry about latency being an issue.
Okay.
Only use those if you want to. Maybe put it on your favorite of the must-haves. So think about the things you have as a must-have, or put like at least one on something, so you're like, this is the thing I really want. Multitasking,
Yeah.
come on.
See, I went to interview type stuff. So,
Right? So you could do
so
remote.
you need two people.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, let's bring the others back in, and we'll just go sit down. I'm gonna take a picture of this. Can you, identify the others? Yeah. Okay, so I see under must-haves, you've got centralized analytics. Why is that important?
Because I want to know what's going on. Some people don't care, but us marketers, we need to know what's going on and if it's worth being on the platform if it's not moving the needle. So,
Okay. And then scheduling? Tell me about
so
that. I know you're frustrated with that.
one thing I want to ask you guys about that because I use Ecamm right now, Ecamm Live for Facebook Lives, and I get to schedule and tell them when I'm going live. And then I get to, that live actually creates a post, and then I send out an email and say, hey guys, I'm going live tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then that post has like a get reminder little star, and then a Facebook Messenger thing pops up and says like, Gwen's about to go live in 2 minutes, do you want to join?
Yeah.
So is that what you mean by scheduling, or like scheduling, like what I hope that's what you mean by scheduling.
I think that's a new one, so we'd have to look at that. I think that they mostly meant by scheduling it more like scheduling posts and things like
Yeah.
that across everything, so you can.
Yes, so both would be great. But I like if this is a live stream platform,
Yeah.
I would love to tell other people that I'm going live, because then it's just not like, it's more of an event and be like, hey, get up at 10 o'clock, or be up by and be on at 10.
Yeah,
So that you guys know that I'm live.
it's good. No, it's good. There's always an intention of wanting to go and do something or watch something.
Yeah.
You just forget.
Yes.
And then you might be in the right position in time to say, sweet.
Yeah.
So,
Because for people who have like a weekly live show, it'd be like every Wednesday at 10. So it's like send me reminders, people get distracted, but
Yeah.
like that would be like a notification, like Gwen's going live in an hour, Gwen's going live in 5 minutes or something.
got it. Interesting. Okay.
So tell me what you really, did you find anything really interesting about this? Kind of what are your thoughts after having reviewed description, looking at the app and kind of the things that it features? What really sparked your interest? What was really interesting for you?
Definitely the multi-platform, that really is a huge deal, especially for content creators on multiple things, because that is our biggest problem. If there was one thing, I think all of us would be a lot more happy, just because it's just too many things, and we're just so distracted, and people are just, it's hard to catch people, so like flipping through everything, right? So that one is a thing. I love that. I didn't know that the archive was possible, because that's something that would be kind of cool if I went live and then I saved the video and I could use it for other platforms. I think that would be cool. I would if that were something that I did regularly, I would maybe like use that as a content stitch and do like best of lives or something like that, to just to like cut different, to repurpose the live, because that's the thing that I think on Instagram it's just like, this is something that you just do once and then it's done.
And it's kind of gone.
Yes, it's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, you can save, I think it's 24 hours, and I've actually never tried to save it on a highlight. I don't even know if that's possible. Yeah, because I really like the highlights on Instagram story, because before it was like, why do a store if it's just going to disappear for 24 hours? But I love that now you can do the highlights and it's there. And brands have now asked me if you could keep it up there. And that's something that I teach the influencers, like if you want a higher package, tell them you'll keep the highlight up for a month or so then you'll continue getting views, and it's not just a 24-hour Instagram story.
Right, so they'll just miss it.
Yeah.
And done.
Yeah, so it increases like the longevity of a live or story or something, a short kind of thing, if someone wants to watch it again.
Okay. Do you feel like how would this help you in terms of your monetization platforms, or how might it change your monetization?
Well, it would definitely be something I could add to my services, or like my rates, to be like, okay, I'm going to do, let's say, I don't know, I'm working with a brand right now, and I'd be like, okay, if we're trying to talk about budget, it's something that would add as value. Be like, this is something I've done before at an event. Like, they wanted to pay me this much, and I was like, I want to get to this price. I'll add in a Facebook Live while I'm there. So then this could be, with Xstream or whatever. I'll do an Xstream Live for 30 minutes at this time while I'm at the event, or while I'm promoting the product.
Right.
And then something that a lot of brands are doing are like boosting that, right? So Facebook boosts that, or Instagram boosts that. So then your content goes further as well.
Right.
So that would be interesting to know if a brand can partner with you on that. Could that be branded, or could they boost and add advertising dollars to it so more people would be able to watch it?
Right. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Is there anything here that you saw, or that you've kind of been discussing with us, that you feel like is a negative to this idea?
I guess I
Or you have questions?
yeah, I would need to know more questions. So like, if people have this app, like, do they have to be following you on everything else to get access to that? Like, how would they even find this without me talking about it? Be like, hey guys, I'm going live here, you have to download this. Or is this something that they're already on? So I guess that would be my question.
Okay.
Because like, if this was the new platform, let's say, that just launched, and be like, okay, my decision would have to be, do I create content specifically for this? If it's live, I'd be like, okay, am I going to commit the time to go live regularly on this channel, just like the YouTube channel? I'm going to start, I'm going to do it. And then who's going to be watching?
Like, how am I going to reach more people, or how are my followers actually even going to show up and be there? So it's like, is it a new thing that I have to tell them to go download, or is it something that they already have?
What if I said it was more like a tool for you in the background, so that whoever engaged with you on Facebook would still engage on Facebook?
So it's connected to all my accounts.
Yeah, it's connected
Yeah,
to
I would
all
totally,
the platforms.
yeah, I would just do it from there then.
Yeah, okay.
I would want to know how it looks, because as you know, there's like the different formats. So does it look like the phone if I go on Facebook? Like, is it vertical as opposed to like a horizontal?
Right.
And how would you guys be able to optimize that so it doesn't look like an Instagram video? Because some people do that, they take an Instagram video and put it as a Facebook post, and it looks kind of weird. Maybe that's just on desktop, but on if it looks like fine on mobile, then I guess that would be fine. So I want to know like how it looks on each one to make sure that it's still like the best experience for the user on that platform.
Cool. Do you guys have any questions to add?
I'd be interested, since you know aspiring content creators so well, like how they would react to something like this, and how eager they are to try out tools.
So I think that you guys really have to work on the messaging that it's not a new platform, because that's like the content creator's biggest nightmare is like, oh,
Another one.
here we go.
Again,
Like
yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, like blog, like what? Like I cannot. I have this moment still, and I have to like remember like, at least you have help. But yeah, I remember what it was like when I was at work and I would have to schedule all this out in advance. So if you market it as like a scheduling tool, such as like, you know, Hootsuite, like, you know, Meet Edgar or whatever later, Planoly, but for live streaming, and then you get to do stuff like make it last, the content last longer, so you don't feel like you're wasting your time creating that content. And everyone can tune in one place instead of you having, because like sometimes people have like their Facebook on and they're on their desktop and then their laptop and then their thing. Then that would be kind of a cool video to see, like instead of do this, like do one thing and this is how you do it. So, yeah.
Cool.
If you had this tool and using your marketing background, how would you market it, and where would you market it?
We got paid for that. I'm just kidding. So I would want to see definitely like something like maybe like an expectations versus reality. So like you expect to just be on your phone, and in reality you have like too many things, plus your lighting, and then you got your makeup on, and then you're set. And then like imagine if you could just like take all that out, and then everyone comes to you instead of you coming to them. So maybe that would be a cool thing.
Where would you market it though? Where would people stumble on this, right? Like,
it would, I'm always on Facebook and Instagram,
yeah.
so it would be there. Maybe YouTube videos, that would be cool. I mean,
Is there like a word of mouth community within the influencers? Like,
Yes.
do you talk to other people who are, you know,
Yes.
influencers, micro influencers, right? Okay.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I feel like whenever I see, we are all friends, we all get invited to the same thing, we all get reached out to by the same brand, so I feel like if someone would like, you know, I watch their stories, they watch mine, and someone says like, this is really cool tool, like you should use it. It's kind of like how like I find out about other devices, and like, you know, you should use a ring light, and you should do this, and all of us are trying to figure it out. And so like if anyone has tips and like things to make life easier for us, then I think that it's like really good. And we get it, right? So we can talk about the life of a creator and an influencer, and the normal person may not care as much because they're not trying to build an audience, or they're not trying to like, you know, monetize their brand. But for people like who have an online brand, an online presence, they're selling something online, or they're working with brands, they feel like they care more about the content part, rather than like maybe a normal person that's just going live.
When you think about this as a tool, is there anything that you've seen that we've talked about that would keep you from thinking about adopting something like this? What would have to be true for you to say this is absolutely not something I would be interested in?
if it was like an insane amount of money.
What's
I
the
don't
same
know.
amount of money?
I don't know.
Okay.
So like I use a teleprompter app, and I would pay like $100 a month for that if I had to, just because I think I do. I mean, it's easier for me when I'm recording a video that I need to write. So I feel like if it's gonna make my life easier every day or all the time, then I'd be willing to pay. For a live stream, like for schedulers, like people pay like around $100 a month just for social media scheduling. So depending on the capabilities and features of that. I also think like it depends on where they are at in their business, because if they're not making any money, then everything's expensive, right? And if you're starting to make money, then you're like, okay, how much time will this save me, and how much more money can I make if I use this tool? So, yeah.
Interesting.
Any other questions, guys?
For up-and-comers, wannabes that are just trying to get into the space, do you think a service like this, maybe be scaled down a little bit, you know, at least offering some of the features that would be kind of givens, would be more receptive, obviously, if it's free, or, you know, to say, okay, at least we're getting you on the platform, and then based upon folks moving up to a higher audience, that there were all these other additional
Right.
features, and then you would probably start tipping the scale of value.
Yeah, like a free and then an in-app
Yeah.
purchase type of upgrade
Yeah.
to get like the analytics and all this stuff that the other people don't really
Okay.
care about. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would totally be more of an incentive for them to use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you, if this was free
Yes.
or like bundled with like, would you be able to pull somebody onto a different service to if they got access to something like this? Like if T-Mobile offered this to their customers, would they get new consumers? Would you be willing to switch, or your people be willing to switch?
Good question. Possibly. It would depend on the app. I just had a really great idea if you guys want it, but like, if you had someone like an influencer who had a following and they would be able to have access to the influencers through that live app, then they may want to.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it would be like a crowdsource, like if you're saying like I can chat live with, I don't know, who am I fangirl of? Like if you tell me, what's his name, Chris Helmsworth was gonna be live every month at this time, I mean we would
We-
vote.
absolutely.
So like if you have shows of people, like if you're going to the entertainment route, if you have shows of people that would go live all the time, every month, maybe a new artist or music or actor or actress, and then they would go live every month, then yeah, I would possibly think about it. If it was Gary Vee, I would pay so much money.
And just for the tool itself?
Oh, sorry. I got too excited.
Yeah.
I would need to know how it works, because I think what the challenges that I would probably have if you were telling me to switch is like, what is the kind of service I'm going to get, right? And then because I've been with my carrier for a certain period of time, like how much would that be to switch over? Like if I owe money on my iPhone, like what, right? Like what's the balance? So it's like, what's the amount of money I have to put in? And then is it worth it? If I was using it every day and it really helped my business, then yeah, it would be a decision I would make. Or as a business owner, I would be like, maybe I keep my phone and then have a business account there, and that phone would be used for my customer service, for the tools, for anything else. Cool.
You mentioned points of fear for up and coming talent.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest risks are for a new creator to touch live? Like I know that a lot of people are hesitant.
It's a confidence thing. I think that the number one fear, right, is fear of being judged.
Mm-hmm.
And their fear is like, you know, they look a certain way, or people are not going to
like them or no one's even going to be on there. So that's like one of the things, like I'm going to go live and no one's there. And I give that story all the time to my students. It's like, I was going live to nobody, like everyone does. Nobody had followers in the beginning. You would just go live and you pretend there's someone talking to you and you just keep going. And so I think a lot of it is just, that's why I feel like a lot of people like to follow influencers, because they tell them about their journey from before and be like, I was scared too, like I was also not talking to anyone. I share screenshots of like old Instagram photos where I had like 2 likes and it was like my mom and someone else. It's like, it was not just you. So if you think that, you know, it's just you. So I feel like to address that, I mean, if you have someone inspirational talking about that, that would be great. I'm working with, I was just telling Erin about this, I'm working with Facebook right now, and I guess I'm going to post it next week so it's not like it's under a mark or anything like that. I think it's already on, but they have a Learn with Facebook platform that they're releasing. And so I'm promoting that, and it kind of talks you through social media, digital support, something like, so maybe if you have something like, I guess a learning tool to teach them how to do that, and one of it is not just like how it works, but like how to actually go live and have a live presence. There's a lot of course creators that sell programs on just like how to be confident live and how to put your lighting up and what to talk about and how to even come up with ideas on what to say when you're live. Some people are just live and they just go, hi, I'm doing this. And then I was like, okay, what else is going on? Keep going. There's like nothing, right? It's just, I mean, I guess some people like that. It's like reality show. You're just like hanging out. So.
Do you think it would be more discouraging for them to start going live on multiple platforms at once, or less discouraging because they're more likely to get at least a few people to tune in?
I don't think it matters if it's on just one, if it's like one phone, right? Because when you say like live and multiple
So if you're on like Facebook, Instagram, Twitch all at once, would that be scarier, or would it be easier because they're going to have 5 to 10 followers immediately, more likely?
And feel more, and then they get some little confidence because more people happen to have exposure to it.
So I think it depends on the person. That's
Chicken
a really hard one, because like I would love more people.
Yeah.
Some people get scared that they're everywhere. I think it's cool, but that's just me. And I've had some trolls already. I've gone through troll university, so yeah. So I don't know, you guys. Like it also depends like how young is this person? Are they just starting out? I think that's kind of a subjective one.
Do you think that, what other content categories cater to live outside of gaming? Like, do you
Everything.
You think everything?
Well, I mean, a lot of lifestyle influencers.
Okay.
A lot of them like to share. Fitness influencers like to share. What else? People who are showing how to do something. That's one. Two, like sharing their lives. Like I do that a lot in trips and stuff. And people really watch and are like, "What are you eating?" Like, oh. I think that it can really be for any niche, and I think that everybody really loves the live. I do stuff that's recorded and live, and just people just love the fact that you are spending that time with them, and you're answering back. Like right now, it's like, is this live or recorded? Because there's so many pre-recorded stuff online right now. Is this live or recorded? People are always asking, and then when you say their name, it's like, oh my gosh, she knows who I am.
Yeah.
So I think that they really like that one-on-one interaction. It really makes people feel like closer to you.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
Thank you, nice to meet you.
nice to meet you. This is my copy.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You want to be an influencer? Let me know.
I don't panic.
You got one,
I
yeah.
always
she's
want to
fine.
be an influencer.
Hi, thank you.
Wait, you mean I'm not
Amazing.
influencer yet?
I went to UK for Visit Britain this year. It was amazing.
And this is why I want to be an influencer.
You get to go to England and all those places. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys. Nice
Yeah, thanks for
meeting you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I
Nice
hope
to
that
meet you.
helped.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. If you guys have any follow up, let me know. And
Yeah,
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
What if you, hey, Lauren, what if you paid as a live streamer to have, like, you know how she said it's really important for me to say someone's name in live? Like, if I'm watching, I want to up my, like, VIP line. Like, I have chats, and people are all coming in at the same time, right?
Yeah,
So,
you
like,
could monetize that.
Totally, dude.
Yeah.
And say,
Shout outs or something, yeah.
It'd say, can you get in front of the line? That rev share goes to the person doing the live stream.
Yeah.
I
And
also
we pick
think
up.
there's like a whole, in addition to that, which I think is great because people are vain and it's.
Yes, but they want to.
They want to hear it. Like, it's my birthday, because that's like HQ all the time. They're like, oh, it's my birthday.
I mean, dude, I laugh like there's
Yeah.
no chance. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
but
chance.
scrolling past and people like that, but like, just the whole education part of it, I think is really.
Yeah.
Hopefully this has been helpful.
Yeah.
Hopefully, okay.
Yeah, totally. Are you kidding me? There's,
You need coffee?
you know,
Okay, I can set you up.
you gotta
I
understand
only
the
have
world.
one more copy of this.
Yeah.
This is Phil. He's our head of creators. He's
Hi,
the one
Phil.
that's been setting up.
Nice to meet you.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
Absolutely.
Hi,
I'm Phil.
I'm Jeff Stoll.
Great to meet you, Jeff. Absolutely.
Who's our next influencer?
Did Gwen do okay for you?
Oh, she,
I love her.
I'm gonna go follow her.
yeah. Well, you know, because she's genuine.
Yeah.
And that's what, it just, that comes right through.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean,
She's got this
savvy.
online course thing that I'm sure she talked about.
She
when
did.
She pushed her online courses. She's making like 30 grand a month. And she built it from the ground up just by herself.
She's
She's like,
impressive.
I'm in awe of her.
She's like, I got 3 staffers. I'm like, what?
Right,
I'm
yeah.
like, holy moly.
And it all started from her just being like, I just want to travel and do pictures on Instagram. It's like,
And her
Smart.
husband is like the tech
Yeah.
brain behind it all.
Totally.
Like, I thought it was
Genius.
She's a smart cookie.
Phil is very deep in the influencer space, so going to your Rolodex was very beneficial for this.
Right. Well, I started as the head of network at Fullscreen back in 2012, and then I built the network over there. And then I was the COO at Studio 71 for 3 years, so I built the network over there. So I've been in the influencer network building game for forever. Yeah. Before that, I was on the creator side of digital, so then it was an easy jump over. But yeah, been building talent networks for a long time. So it's very easy to go through the Rolodex and just be like, hey, come on in, let's go chat.
I was just shocked. It was like, boom, we talked, and we were kind of getting crunched a little bit there. We had the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm like, man, it's going to be a little while. And then you came back and said, well, here's our list.
Well,
Boom.
the LA area is very easy for
I didn't even book my flight till
you.
Monday because I wasn't sure.
New York
Yeah.
might be a little more difficult for us.
Well, it's
but
tough because smaller influencers can't live in New York in the way that smaller influencers can live in LA.
yeah.
There's less of a couch surfing culture. There's less, So
Also, rents in LA, you can live in the outskirts of LA.
Yeah.
right.
My nephews are both out here. They live in Glendale. They have a nice 2-bedroom
Yep.
in
Yeah.
Glendale, like right on the Burbank line. And I'm like, how much are you paying for this?
Right,
and it's like cheap. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is like, you're in Los Angeles. Like basically, you're here.
Absolutely.
Totally, yeah.
You know.
So in New York, you got Casey Neistat, but he's unlimited money to book, and like a handful of others. But you have to have kind of that artist loft space to create, and they don't have that in New York. So we could probably dig some people
We're
up,
piecing
but it'll
something
probably be
together.
more like,
The smaller ones are going to be
Yeah, we
easier.
pushed it out a
Honestly,
week. We wanted to go next week. We're like, no, let's just take time.
Yeah.
And focus here. So it's great.
That's why we heavied up here, and we have smaller guys in line for New York. But
That's fine.
Are there other places where there are like little pools of influencers?
Totally. So
Like
Provo has a huge amount of cinematographer creators, which is awesome.
Really?
It's awesome, yeah. Texas is where all gaming is because
Okay.
Rooster Teeth and Screw Attack and everybody kind of came out of the Texas scene.
Yeah.
In the South, you get a ton of food creators.
Okay,
So
yeah,
like the
everybody-
Georgia,
yeah.
Mississippi,
Yeah.
even Florida. Has
Everybody
a
wants
ton
to
as
be
well.
the next great chef.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, the comedy scene in Florida is amazing too. Because Florida got a bunch of comedy clubs that opened up about 10 years ago. So, yeah, they're
Jason,
Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Pleasure, nice to meet you.
Patty.
You
Hi.
Jason,
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
We'll Well, or I
I think
think
you're
we're
probably
gonna
not
have,
seeing
yeah,
it.
you're
Oh,
not
boy,
seeing
I
it.
gotta
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
We need about 20.
Let me
20
just,
more.
I'm gonna give
Well,
this
let's
to
go
you.
10 more. Yeah, the other copies.
This is
For
basically
hang
just an
out.
NDA that says,
Hold
we're
it.
gonna be talking about stuff here today. It's for research purposes, but
You know
so
what, just
we won't
because when
talk,
the next
we won't
people
share
come in, I
anything
wanna
that
be
you tell us,
available,
and
so
you
I'll
won't
jump
share
out.
anything with other people.
Very
That's
cool.
basically
No
this.
problem.
So,
Thank you so much.
Of course.
you sign, and then we'll make sure you have a copy to take with you.
I'm good for now, more.
Okay, thank you. I think I have pictures of those, but I gotta take another set just in case. Can you grab one? And
Yeah,
let me know
so
where
come over
we're good to go?
How many more, Patty?
For today, only another pair.
Make some hot water. Water, like tea.
Did I hear you make me tea?
Do you want someone to get you a cup?
Do you need anything? Some water or soda?
I might grab some water. I'm gonna go.
And we did.
Stop
I
out
did
there,
it.
something like
I
that.
can get it for you.
You sure? I don't want to go for it.
No, not a problem.
What? Oh, yeah, I'll take some tea for a warm up. Okay, we'll get started in 1 second. Did you start on that?
Yeah, we should
Oh,
give
yeah.
the,
Yeah.
Close out and start again.
You
You
said you
want
wanted
tea?
a water?
Yeah.
Okay. Or LaCroix is also LaCroix. No, just plain water.
I've tried to tend to like it,
Yeah.
and I can't do it.
You can't even pretend.
No, I can't do it.
Okay, thank you.
I tried though.
I can start letting you know beforehand too, Patty.
Yeah, I just want, I
Tea,
need to
water.
know more tea, yes, would be
Okay.
great. It's a little chilly in the fingers.
Oh, now it's, we've all been waiting for you to say
I
that.
totally wasn't cold until Jeff started saying, are you cold, are you cold, are you cold?
I didn't
Now
get
I'm
cold until I went out there
That's
to
beautiful.
get
it's
coffee and came
warm.
back in and
No.
realized,
Now
oh,
it's off.
Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you so much for coming today
Thanks for having
and
me.
talking with us. So basically, we're just gonna be talking to you a little bit about what you do, how you do it, the tools you use, the process you use, and we're gonna show you and do a little demo for you, and then have to get your feedback on that. So, my name is Patty, very nice to meet you, and this is Jeff, Matt,
Jason.
here, Brian, this is Lauren, and we're all here doing, this is a research team, basically, to do this, to understand kind of how to design and develop a new product. So in order to do that, what we're trying to do is understand what it is you do, how you do it, what the tools you are using, what's frustrating, what's good, good, bad, other, and then taking you through something to get your feedback on it. So it's in a prototype development stage. So.
Great.
But nothing you can say about it will upset us because we're really in that, creation stage, right? So, okay. Okay, I've introduced everybody, my third one, so now I'm like, what have I said to you and what haven't I said to you? Okay, nice to start. So tell me a little bit about what you do.
I guess I make things,
Okay.
and hopefully people see them or hear them.
Okay.
I guess like the kind of the bottom line. I kind of specialize in video,
Okay.
which is big for me. Also, more kind of podcasting, which you don't have to see this.
Audio only, right?
Audio only, yeah, cuts all this out. But I've been, for the last 10 years, I've been creating a lot of video with various platforms that have come and gone.
Okay, yes.
A lot come, most leave, but
Yeah.
some kind of stick around. And then what I basically try to do is take one thing that I make that I'm like, this is good enough, and try to put it on as many platforms as possible.
Okay.
To really make the most out of that thing. And then I prioritize kind of what I put those things on based on what I have to put in to do it and what I'm going to get out of it. Like if it takes me forever to upload a video on something, and I know I'm like there's not a big audience there, either I might do it as an afterthought or I might just leave it by the wayside and concentrate on those things that I know will get the traffic or at least grow or something I'm excited about that kind of grows.
Right. So even if you don't have a huge audience, it's a platform or something you're excited about.
I'm excited about, thank you. I'm excited about the possibility of new people, because if it's a new platform, there would be an audience that has never heard of me, which is a huge surprise. Everyone's heard of me. This time, right? I wouldn't be here if everyone's heard of me, I guess, probably, right? I'd be on a helicopter somewhere.
You get some remote islands.
Yeah, sure. But I'm very excited about the prospect. So when something new comes out, I'm like, how can I get on it? And how can I get on it in a way where people will notice me without me having to cut through too much red tape? Like a feature, I'm verified on like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all those things, and brand ambassador for a lot of things. So my thing is like, hey, I'd be happy to try this out. Can I be featured so people can find what I'm doing easy, which is great for me.
Right. What is your focus? So you create content, but what is your content about? So what's your focus just for our purposes? Like,
I would say entertainment. I guess would be kind of the bottom line. Things that are relatable, comedic, kind of stuff.
So you're doing comedic videos, right? You're
A lot of
not talking about entertainment. You're doing things to entertain.
I'm doing things, yes,
Okay.
to pass the time.
Okay.
I travel a lot, so I do a lot of travel lately. I just got back from a couple weeks in Europe. I capture all that, and I put that out there in a blog and video and short video. Also that is always coming from a comedic place too, because it's like my personality. I'm not like too serious about what I'm talking about. Because I dropped out of college like 5 times. I can't talk like, you know what I mean? I can't talk big about really anything. So it's just a very like relatable, like, hey, I'm doing this cool thing. Come along with me, and hopefully it'll help you pass the time or what, if you're on the treadmill or whatever.
Right, exactly. While you're on the train,
waiting
somewhere.
As life's passing you by, let's do it together.
Yes, excellent. That's a good tagline. So tell me a little bit about, you said you do a blog.
I do.
So you have your own website. And you do a lot of different videos. Do you live stream as well? You do a lot of
I've been live streaming probably for the last 10 years on so many platforms, because my kind of what got me all this is I've been performing live in front of actual human beings for about 15 years now. So for me, when live streams are happening, I was like, where I found some other people that were like, I'm great with a camera and it's edited, but you put me in front of a live situation, I can't switch gears, and I just love doing that. The fact that the people there responding and seeing it is great. I mean, sometimes I've tested a lot of live things, and there's like no one there, or like none of these people speak English. You know what I mean? It's like which is totally fine. But like nobody's understanding what I'm saying.
Right.
I've been going through that right now, actually. But you can do it.
What platforms are you using to do all this?
For the live stuff, I mean, I haven't really like. Instagram Live I'll sometimes do. I don't know. There's just something about that audience, because a lot of that audience is like my personal things with live. It's like stand-up comedy and what I'm doing as an actor and entertainer. So I don't want to do too much that'll be like, this guy's really hokey. But there's plenty of other ones I use. I mean, I'm like a partner on Twitch. So I've done some of that, so I'm trying to figure that out. I'm also 45 years old. So I'm like really late, like I'm just a late, early adopter to like the internet, but then also a lot of people are like, hey, we're trying to age up this brand, so great.
So you like raise your hand like,
yeah, I'm like, they're trying to encourage, there's enough 9-year-olds or 12-year-olds or 17-year-olds on there. There's not enough 45-year-olds, I guess. The one that was formerly Musical.ly is now TikTok.
Yes, TikTok.
Yeah, that's been really great to me. I've left it and come back, and it's like get.
Do you have a lot of followers on that?
I mean, considering I've only been back on it a couple months, I have like 124,000, and I've been featured on there. They had this live stream. They would feature me, and I one time I had 12,000 people on my live stream, which is like pretty amazing.
Wow.
I'm like, go to my Instagram, go here, go there. I'm just trying to push them off, but stay here, but like later go on the other ones. There's one called Up Live that I'm doing. It's okay, it's cool. Nothing, what are some of the other ones? One called the Like app, which is another big one. So it just really depends. The TikTok is the one I probably go on live the most lately.
Is that because of who is there, or is that something else to do with the platform itself?
I think because I know people will show up for the most part. So it's that, and then they're good about being like, it's easy to go to my Instagram or YouTube. They don't make you jump through too many hoops, so it's which I appreciate. A lot of they used to be like Snapchat was like, don't go anywhere else, and then they realized that didn't kind of work out. They're like, no, you can put a link in now. Well, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of users on there.
But you're also on YouTube as well.
I was on YouTube.
How many followers?
132,000.
Okay. Yeah. What's your biggest pool of subscribers and followers? fans, whatever you want to call it?
I mean, my podcast really did really well. That was a separate thing that they do on the comedy charts on iTunes on there. So that gets me a lot. But, yeah, I would say YouTube. I still get just a lot of traffic. Whether I put up a video or not, there's just always traffic being cycled through, which is good. That's pretty good to me. And sometimes I get some impressions on Twitter, depending on how active I am on that. Instagram's okay. I mean, and TikTok is really great. You know, I get a lot of traffic on that. Surprisingly enough, we're doing really terrible videos. I mean, it's all terrible. It's all family friendly for me. You know, so real bad stuff.
Do you use different strategies on each one of these, and how do you determine sort of, let's say you want to go live or whatever it is, how do you determine which one you're going to use? How do you decide which one is the right thing?
I think, well, I mean, of course, the user experience for me is always really important. Because there's like a lot of bells and whistles, and I'm like, some of these bells and whistles aren't really important. Me, it's like I want to be in front of people doing my thing as long as it's well lit and we can communicate back and forth. Because there's that YouNow platform, which was kind of like, I did all right with that. It was just like, sometimes there's so many bells and whistles, especially a lot of these apps from China, so they have their own kind of interesting, weird, it's like, I don't know what's going on. It's like a circus on there. And I'm like, what is this thing? I press a thing and I'm like, well, that was a mistake because that whole thing's backwards. But because, frankly, I think, especially when, you want people to, you want the most amount of people to use something. It should be the most intuitive. By this point, it should be able to happen. So yeah, there's that experience. The fact that I know people will show up and they just want attention. And the fact is that once they're there, I can get them to do at least one other action.
Okay. Such as?
Go to my Instagram, get on there. I mean, download my podcast. If I say, eventually when I start touring the podcast and it's touring the stand-up, a lot of people are not the right age, but if it's enough, granted, I'd like to, localize it and be like, oh, I'll be in, to be like, come to Kansas. Well, I was like, I'll be in Kansas. So figuring that out and getting people to do something else and make sure to follow me on that thing that I'm on. Because people come, they find it, I want them to be able to stick around and know when I'll be live again, and then we really create a relationship where they're kind of willing to do whatever to support.
Right. Okay. Right. Do you have staff who help you out, or do you hire anybody, or do you have people who even for free help you out with some of this stuff?
I mean, not for the live stuff, but other, like my podcast engineer or YouTube. I have people doing things for me. I've had people with live stuff. Because I used to, run like a live thing for this media company using OBS and stream like a live streamer and all that kind of stuff. But I've done some live streams. I had somebody help me with like the technical aspect of it, just to make sure. And once it is, then I pretty much know how to do it. I just do it. I don't trust people, especially the back end. I don't want people logging into my thing. I'm just I'm just very hands-on to my own stuff.
Right.
That's why I like when something is intuitive and easy and doesn't take you very long to kind of figure it out. It's just very appealing.
You mentioned technical stuff for YouTube.
Yeah.
Anything specific you can go into? Was it video editing perhaps, or sound design?
As far as going with the live aspect?
Anything. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just things that people that have moved to Los Angeles, they do sound, which I'm like, it sounds boring, but you do it great, or editing and stuff like that. So I try to get the best people to do it. So when I make this thing, it's not like, I cut corners in all these places. Now it's like this good idea looks awful or sounds awful or just is awful because I wanted either cheap or too controlling. So I think it's I'm willing to put money into the thing that will be successful because you'll make more.
But if you could do it yourself, if it were easy enough to do, you would.
I would have to. Yeah, I don't like having to rely and wait on people. I know I'll show up, so I'll be there. I'm here, so anything to make everything as easy as possible that I can do myself. I will use it more frequently. Right. I won't have it. I was like, I gotta. Whatever it has to be, I need to be in this certain my Wi-Fi. It's great. It's not good enough. I need to go to a landline or or something like, anything where I can use it as much as possible will make me want to use it more, because then I won't be like, oh, I have to be home, and if I want to do something, I'm on the beach. This is cool, people who don't live by the beach. I don't want there to be restrictions because I'm by the beach, whatever restrictions they may be. Whether it's sound, picture, I've used some apps, I'm like, this picture quality is really bad considering it's 2017. I don't think there's really an excuse for it. You've seen other stuff. It doesn't look like that. It looks bad. They're like, well, work it, isn't it working? I was like, don't work it. Well, put it out when you're done working on it.
So you're actually using multiple things, like you're using a computer, you're using your phone, you're running live.
iPad, iPad, iPhone, desktop. I always get, like, I have my iPhone XS Max waiting for me. I just wait for the case to go on because I'm too paranoid to use it without it. But I make sure that I have my technology is very up to date this way. It's not on me if something doesn't, I understand if you have an iPhone maybe 6 or 5S and you're like, the technology is moving faster than the phone. I'm where I should be, so everything else should kind of just work.
Okay. Do you use cameras like this as well?
I have that for Twitch.
Okay.
That the way Twitch is set up, but now I have it through the PlayStation, where I have for some reason there's less things for me to have to do. So I have like a PlayStation, the PlayStation camera. So the skin of the live stream is kind of all intuitive. So I don't need to go to OBS and then have this here, and so I don't even use that. I have it, but I haven't used it
in a while.
I haven't needed to.
Okay.
I'd like to not have to need it. I just, I'd like to have the least amount of things that I need, whether it's space or convenience.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of video editing and archiving and things in the cloud, or are you more of a physical device person?
Physical, hard. I have photos in the cloud, but I'm like hard drives and things that I can kind of see and touch and stuff like that. Because I know nothing. Hopefully, nothing I have that for. But in general,
are you archiving videos you create?
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff. Stuff in the cloud. Right?
Yeah, and I have it, and I just, as I do it, I just kind of dump it into hard drives. That's for right now. That's what I do.
Okay. And do you think about all these different platforms and tools that you use? Is there something that you feel like you'd like to be able to do but you can't do right now? That the technology doesn't exist, or something that just kind of frustrates you that you wish somebody would figure it out?
To be able to do things without having to use Wi-Fi, that my phone itself is just good enough. Like, it's just good enough to circumvent that. Usually, if I'm doing if I'm getting paid to do a live stream, or if I'm doing something and there's no Wi-Fi, I know I'm kind of rolling the dice. I understand that. So I think that is, that's super important. The ability to notify whoever's following me that they're properly notified that I'm going live, or I posted a video, and I talk to a lot of people also with the same thing, or they're like, we didn't get the notification or whatever. So that always seems to be really buggy, and I don't know why it should be. So something like that, so people know when I'm doing something that I'm there.
Yeah. Okay. How are you monetizing your content?
Well, YouTube is the old-fashioned way, and then branded content, which I still do, and I'll usually either do it on one platform, or I'll do YouTube, and I just did something for Sony, so it was like YouTube, and then I did Instagram, and then like one Instagram story, and one Twitter, we kind of packaged. So kind of old school like that. Sometimes the live streams like TikTok, you can get gifted, so I'll get gifts. Sometimes, get enough to get that threshold. That, maybe a podcast is monetized, a bunch of different ways. Not everything I do is necessarily monetized, but I try to get as many things monetized as possible. Plus, I populate other apps with content with apps, for new apps, and everything want content.
So you're creating content?
Or I'm just, repurposing? I'm repurposing. Yeah,
Okay.
I do a lot of repurposing just to get their thing kind of up and running. But it's like the monetization is great, and I think everyone loves that. But I also, if there's growth, I kind of count that as being monetized. Because if there's growth, then later on, you can kind of monetize whatever you want. It's like it's kind of like amassing audiences is like kind of like my favorite thing. And then just because it's just good when you do something that people see. That's it's like that's like that greedy where it's like the money comes to first. But then, you know, after a while, it's like, I gotta pay this bill.
We all do.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to actually introduce you to a new product. And first, can you hand me one of those? We want you to read this description, and I'm going to give you 2 highlighters. One is orange, one is blue. The orange one, you should highlight things that you really like, that you find really appealing. And the blue is for if you find anything really unappealing or maybe something's confusing, you can underline it, just say it, so we can talk about it. But in general, read it, and if you like something, orange. If you don't like anything, that's fine too. If it's pretty neutral, that's okay too.
Orange good.
Orange good, blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blue's bad.
I'm good.
Orange is like the sunshine.
There it is.
You don't want to show me.
You have a camera in between.
Yes.
Strategically positioned.
Please. I'm the anonymous one.
So is it someone volunteer? Is it
No. Brian is
He
watching.
was on Hangout before.
Yeah, just to hang out though.
He was taking shots at you
I'm sure.
on the G-chat. Quite funny.
Oh, Andrew?
Yeah, I was just chuckling.
I do.
Some would say that. They'd be wrong, but they'd say.
Yesterday, maybe I'll-
That's because I emailed him that he's a dum-dum.
Okay. Do you have any questions about what you just read?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you didn't realize?
I mean, live augmentation, I don't know what that means.
Okay.
And I might, inherently, my thing is like, I don't care. I don't care. Just, that's just my initial thing, it's just
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind being, like, I just want to be, you know, if I'm like sold on this thing, the other stuff's great, it's like gravy or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's not like, you know, it's like, I'm not crazy with this, but there's live augmentation, I'm like, I don't know what that is, so,
Right.
so it doesn't mean I don't like it.
Right. It
That
just
must
means-
be, does that mean make me famous and a millionaire? It might mean that to you, then yes, I like it, but to see it doesn't really do anything for me.
Right, so
Yeah.
was there anything here that you specifically actually really kind of liked?
I mean, I like suite of tools, it makes me think there's more, and then the promise of new ones. You know, obviously multiple destinations simultaneously, which I really like. However, in theory, I like that, but when you're on different platforms and you're talking to different people, and you're like, hey, what's up, Kelly 436, and the other people on the other platforms are like, there's no Kelly 436 in here, who are you talking to? So it seems really, you know, disingenuous a little bit.
Okay.
But if it's something like, hey guys, I'm not talking to anybody, I'm live on the beach, totally fine. But if it's a thing where you are like, I don't know, it just feels like I'm going on like 4 dates at once. You know? It's like, hey, dates, this is fun, isn't it? It's like, you know, I like that kind of like, people like to hear that they're being paid attention to.
Right.
More than anything. And I feel like you can't do that if you're streaming everything at once, unless for some reason only one thing has a strong, and it doesn't matter for anybody else.
Right.
So I like that in theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Guaranteed constant bit rate, that sounds good. You know,
Okay.
I want to be confident that I didn't say, hey, I'm going live at this time, and then not deliver. So the fact that it seems like
You can go wherever you are.
yeah, archiving your broadcast, that's great because you can take it, I'm assuming, and repurpose it, and chop it up, and do compilation. And I love it. analytics. That's my, like, I'm a YouTube analyst.
Yeah, tell me how you use your analytics now. Like, what do you do? What are you looking at when you look at your analytics?
I'm looking at growth. That's like the first thing, right?
Yeah.
What's working? Like oh, you know, this type of content, people seem to be like whatever. This, you know, like I do a podcast and abandon this does sometimes really well. Something that they may not have heard is like doesn't do as well. So I'm like, ooh, do I do more abandoned things? So I kind of try to do that with keeping in what I like to do. I don't want to be miserable.
When you think about what they like, are you thinking about some kind of like emoji-based or reaction-based thing, or are you thinking more like length of time they're engaged, they're there?
Yeah,
So,
like a watch time on YouTube would be something like that. But even just a click-through. So you have a bunch of options, if I have, X amount of videos, X amount of podcasts, X amount of whatever, and if they're even clicking through to that, unless it's like just a drop-off, which doesn't really happen, it's usually kind of deliver on that, but for some reason, certain things just really resonate with people, and I'm like, ooh, let's consider making more of that, and maybe less of the other things that aren't, unless I really want to, that are really paying off. And then I'm looking at where it's coming from. We're speaking English, because if 95% speak English, great, because then I can sell my book, or whatever. I can, if most of it's coming from like Bangladesh or Hong Kong or something like that, I might be, that's great, but also there might not be any kind of, click through in that sense. I'm trying to, or they just might not be understanding what I'm saying. Not that, listen, I travel all the time, and I love that, but I think when they don't speak the language, it's tough. Unless I'm doing something that's just very visual. Like, hey, I'm at a trampoline park. I would do that, but it's
That's me, because I would do it.
Yeah, I know, but at a trampoline park, that's
And I'm done.
Watch
Okay, 5 seconds, I'm done.
Yeah, that's,
I'm going live to break my leg. That's what my.
well, that's like something that I would probably do. Well,
You're doing it well.
Exactly. I click on it too. But that's universal language, so that wouldn't really matter.
You get Lauren spitting up. That's a good one. That'll go viral.
Matt, demonstrate for you. This.
Great.
Oh, okay.
Again, it's a general level, so it's like this,
So judge partially.
Yeah.
Partially.
Tough love.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Total tough love.
So it seems like you got generally the gist of it.
Yeah.
Live on all those platforms, you can see up there.
Okay.
And it's pulling together all the chat from across them. Also, it's paired to this camera. You can't use it right now, but if you were to click this, this is a paired camera. This is actually a 360 4K camera, and if you do that, it becomes a 180 VR. But we're also interested in just pairing with cameras in general, understanding like what would be a enticing way to do that.
And like, let's just say that was work. Would you see me going this way, and then you'd see that going that way in like screen and screen, or how would that work?
So we're open to how you would expect things to work. We're open to that.
Yeah.
Like we would want to know, what would you like on that as far as cameras? Would you like to be using dual or individual? Be able to toggle that. That's the kind of feedback that we're trying to get out of this. And then on top of it, the additional features that you're talking about, live archiving this, so that when this is done, there'll already be a copy sitting in your private cloud, the analytics across them being pulled into it, and the top tier of being able to actually, working directly with carriers to make it so that this is the top possible, 4K streaming that you may not be able to do right now on your unlimited plans and things like that. So you can play with this, and see how you like it.
I mean, it looks nice and clear. That's a great start. It seems pretty. Like there's not too many. It seems like you can flip the camera around, chat. What's this one do?
That would be to
Do that. Okay.
Yeah. Would you expect the chat to be interactive both ways? So you're seeing input, people chatting to you. Do you want to be able to, or need to be able to, chat back out?
I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't mind it. Because what if, I don't know, somebody's typing something in there is like helpful, but mostly it's verbal.
Okay.
You
usually respond, like if you're.
I usually respond,
I see Matt 451, and that's
sometimes if somebody was like, hey, what's the name of that
movie you're talking about, and sometimes you type it in there, it's easier for them to actually see it, because I speak very quickly, and it's like a speech pattern that's kind of not everyone understands, but not, it doesn't offend me.
Right, okay.
But it'd be nice to have, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Again, because it's a prototype, we're looking for what are the baselines we kind of need to put in it.
And then what are the things that really would be, next level?
Yeah, I mean, I think ways to kind of actually engage with these, like being able to click on their profile, like click on Slay B or Slay B, and click on that, and if I want to follow them, or be able to like click on their thing,
figure out who they are.
Yeah,
okay.
I think like if I'm like, you know what, hey everybody, like I'm gonna follow one person, whatever, and it gets people engaged, like whatever, and then I'm like, all right, well it's you win, I'm gonna click on you, and so I'm able to actually engage with that account. I think wouldn't hurt, and most of them do that. I'm also just thinking like what the things I don't necessarily, but they tend to do that.
Knowing that that interface and usability is important to you, like what do you think about this right now? Like what do you think about the complexity level of this?
I think it's very clean, which I like. There's only really certain things that I need. I mean, some have like a beauty filter, which doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? Slim my face. Well, yeah, but I mean, I can always be a little bit hotter. You know what I mean? I can always be a tiny bit hotter. I can always be a 10 from a 9.5. But I mean, those kind of. I mean, that's not really.
Yeah.
That's not really relevant. It's not really. Most
no,
of the app.
It's good to know because some influence.
I'm thinking about like Periscope and how like even though it's like kind of not, it's other weird one, but that I used to use and stuff. But I feel like that was also simple too, which I kind of like the simplicity of all that. It's just like let's communicate, make it easier for you to follow me, so you can know when I'm coming back again. That's important to grow that thing. For me to be able to like click, oh yeah, oh hey, my friend bot, let me follow you very easily instead of to go back and search your name. Prioritizing chats is always an interesting thing. I know YouTube tried doing that. So like a way to kind of like that people that I'm following would be like in a different color. I think that's anything.
What about people want to even pay?
Yeah, I mean, YouTube. I know kind of they had that super chat thing. I actually beta tested that, but I think that is also so they can feel anything to make me be able to like, oh hey, you are paying to be here. You get more attention.
You're special.
Yeah, or I'm following. I'm following you for whatever reason. Let me let you know that like I'm noticing you.
Okay.
Especially if the chats get kind of crazy. So I think that's super. That's super making them whatever makes them. So it's not for sometimes with like live streaming. It's not so much for me. It's like how can I make the people come back and feel good when they're there.
Backstage thing where you finish your live stream, that are kind of your followers,
Yeah.
the big ones who may stay on, and you just finish
After party.
Yeah, the VIP. We'll get real.
Yeah.
Real deal. Yeah, real deal. Where I start crying. You know what I mean? Like, you can see the real raw me. Just start reading my poetry. But I think that's a great anything to make them feel. So this is what it would look like on YouTube.
YouTube's on the right.
YouTube, Twitch, Facebook.
Yeah. See, the thing, I mean, again, this is probably this is just the way it is because, I don't know, because my YouTube is so, the way it is video, I think this, I probably wouldn't use, and I never have used, it's not like, don't take it personally, I've never have really done those things where you can stream to multiple things and use YouTube because I just don't like the way it looks. But that's just me personally. Some other people might not mind. Or if I did, I'd probably have it up there and take it down.
Okay.
Personally. But see, the Facebook looks like something like it just fits. Twitch, I probably wouldn't mind as much. It just, I don't know, even if there's a way to put some kind of something on those black sides just look so bad to me.
So something about whatever, where your podcasts can be found or something.
Anything to fill that space.
Right. Yeah.
It just doesn't. It looks like you look like you're like oh you're filming it wrong, that kind of thing. And I just don't like. But the Facebook actually looks pretty decent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
If you could make it in landscape mode, would you go live on YouTube? And is
the other platforms?
I guess I would see. The thing is, turning it this way, it depends on my experience on this side.
Got it.
Because there's less space, so like there's less chat to kind of see. Yeah, so it kind of depend on that because it's just less real estate for me to work with.
Okay, great, thank you, thanks, Matt. So.
And I get this, and I get this. And
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
All right, so what we're gonna do now is